Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? Funny Bone here. Funny Bone was looking this morning, and I knew about Kristi Noem stormed out. I showed y'all that the other day. But they found out that she was lying when she tried to make an excuse of why she left the meeting. Said she had a FEMA meeting. They come to find out that was a lie. Miss Kristi is in deep, deep trouble. Deep trouble. So, I'm going to show y'all some more of the meeting. And I want y'all to pay attention to the senator that's going to spell out what Miss Noem been doing since Donald Trump appointed her. What she's been doing. And none of it is legal. That's why she stormed out, because they had her left or right. She couldn't answer those questions. Then she make up an excuse to get out of the frying pan because the heat was too hot. Well, you just don't understand. That frying pan on top of the oven that's already on, there's on broil. So Ms. Noem, you ain't got nowhere to run. You can resign all you want to. But you in some big trouble. Y'all take a listen to this. And I mean big trouble.
And we're responding immediately to our people. I have to actually leave this hearing early because the FEMA Review Council is giving their report today on suggestions for changes to FEMA.
Thank you for not taking your foot off the gas.
I have to co-chair it, but I will be leaving soon to have to go do that. But those.
Now this is what we heard the other day.
Someone who uses a baby as a political tool while taking babies away from the family. You cannot use a baby as a political tool while you take away the rights of families. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
Okay, so Kristi Noem just got absolutely exposed in what might be one of the most embarrassing moments for a cabinet secretary in recent memory.
Yes.
And the details that are coming out right now are honestly stunning.
Yep.
We're talking about the Secretary of Homeland Security literally running away from a congressional hearing, making up a completely false excuse about why she had to leave, and then getting caught red-handed when the truth came out. This isn't just bad optics. This is a full-blown credibility crisis for someone who's supposed to be in charge of America's security.
Yes.
And the implications of this are massive, not just for Noem herself, but for the entire Trump administration heading into what's already shaping up to be a brutal 2026 midterm cycle. What we're watching right now is a cabinet secretary who thought she could lie to Congress, walk out of her responsibilities, and somehow get away with it. And instead, she's now facing questions about whether she can even continue in her role. And here's the thing. This story has everything. A dramatic exit from a hearing, a fake excuse that fell apart under scrutiny, a Democratic congressman who stayed behind and got the real story from the remaining witnesses, and now a massive political firestorm that's putting the entire administration on defense. This is the kind of scandal that doesn't just hurt one person, it damages the credibility of everyone around them. Now, before we dive into the details, I want to say something really important. You can't really...
Kristi Noem is in bad trouble. Bad trouble, people. Bad trouble. She made up a lie when she stormed out. They proved it was a lie. So, she facing sanctions. And I'm telling you right now, it ain't gonna be the kind of sanctions she want. Tell you that right now, people. I'm telling y'all, she's in bad trouble. Bad trouble.
We bring the news straight to you every single day with the kind of analysis you won't find anywhere else. Just hit the subscribe button below to join us. And if you want to support this work and be part of a community that truly cares about the truth, this is your moment. Subscribe and drop a comment below with your thoughts on this Noem situation. Because I genuinely want to know what you think about a cabinet secretary lying to Congress. All right, let's get back to the video.
That filmed her attempting to herd cattle has documented political and personal ties to the secretary and her senior leadership. Fourth, her directive requiring personal approval of all contracts over $100,000 concentrated power in the hands of the very people tied to the firm that secretly received the work.
Yep.
Her and Mr. Lewandowski. At the exact time this contract was executed, DHS was diverting investigators and resources away from child exploitation, away from child trafficking, away from illegal gun smuggling. Yet somehow, she found nearly $250 million to promote herself, and the money flowed to her political allies. A federal contracting law expert, quoted in ProPublica, summarized it plainly. It's corrupt is the word.
Yep.
That's what I would have liked to ask the secretary about today.
She corrupt.
I would have asked if she personally approved
She
money
did.
that flowed to her political and personal allies.
She did.
I would have asked if whether when she was governor of South Dakota in 2023, and the same firm got $8.5 million of taxpayer money, whether she steered the money to them.
She did.
Because an official in her administration said she did. That's what I would have asked her. But she had to leave early. Mr. Glasheen, are you familiar with the Proud Boys?
Listen to this, y'all.
I'm familiar with the name, yeah, Proud Boys.
Okay, does the FBI still designate the Proud Boys as an extremist organization?
Nope.
They did in 2018 in President Trump's first term.
Not on him, no.
We are in the process right now of changing our categories for domestic terrorism.
That's a snake right there.
So they're no longer designated as an extremist organization. The FBI designated them an extremist organization in 2018. Has that changed?
I'm not aware that they did that.
People, y'all look. That's a snake in the face right there. He know damn well that they are. But he's trying his best to cover it up and deny it. Because he's affiliated with them. Most likely. So, yeah. Look at him, y'all.
It's all over the media, sir. It's widely reported. Can you get back to me on that?
Sure will.
All right, thank you.
Wow.
The gentleman yields back. I now recognize.
Here's what happened. Kristi Noem, who's currently serving as Secretary of Homeland Security in the Trump administration, was called to testify before a congressional committee. And this wasn't some casual hearing. This was serious oversight work, where members of Congress were asking tough questions about her department's performance, policies, and decision-making. Multiple witnesses were present, including other officials and experts who were there to provide testimony on critical Homeland Security issues. The hearing was going along, questions were being asked, and then suddenly, in the middle of the proceedings, Noem abruptly announced she had to leave. Not at a natural break point, not after completing her testimony, but right in the middle of questioning. She gave what seemed like a perfectly reasonable excuse at the time, something that made it sound like she had an urgent, legitimate reason to step away from what is, let's be honest, one of the most important responsibilities a cabinet secretary has, which is answering to the people's representatives in Congress. She walked out, left the hearing room, and presumably thought that would be the end of it. The remaining witnesses stayed behind. The hearing continued, and that's when things started to get really interesting. Congressman Walkinshaw, a Democrat who was part of the committee conducting the hearing, didn't just let Noem's departure slide. Instead, he turned his attention to the witnesses who remained in the room and started asking them questions, really detailed, probing questions about the same issues that Noem had been dodging before she left. And what came out during that questioning was absolutely devastating, because it became clear that whatever excuse Noem had given for her sudden departure, it wasn't holding up under scrutiny. The witnesses who stayed, people who actually knew what was going on, people who had first-hand knowledge of the situation, they provided testimony that directly contradicted the story Noem had told about why she needed to leave so urgently. Meiselas, a prominent legal analyst and journalist, actually interviewed Congressman Walkinshaw after the hearing. And in that interview, Walkinshaw laid out in detail exactly what happened after Noem left the room. He explained how the remaining witnesses were questioned, what they revealed, and how their testimony made it abundantly clear that Noem's excuse was, to put it bluntly, completely made up. This wasn't a case of miscommunication or a misunderstanding. This was a cabinet secretary who apparently decided that lying to Congress was preferable to answering difficult questions, and that's a massive problem. Now, let's talk about what this actually means in terms of how congressional oversight is supposed to work, because this goes way beyond just one embarrassing moment for Kristi Noem. When a cabinet secretary is called to testify before Congress, that's not optional. That's not something you can just blow off because the questions are getting uncomfortable. Congressional oversight is one of the fundamental pillars of American democracy. It's how the legislative branch keeps the executive branch in check, and it's how the American people get answers about what their government is doing in their name. Cabinet secretaries serve at the pleasure of the president, but they're accountable to Congress, which means they're accountable to the American people. When you take an oath to serve as a cabinet secretary, you're agreeing to show up when Congress calls you, answer their questions honestly, and provide the information they need to do their job of oversight. The idea that a cabinet secretary can just walk out of a hearing, make up an excuse, and think that's acceptable is fundamentally incompatible with how our system of government is supposed to function. And here's the thing. It's not like congressional hearings are some casual conversation where you can just say, "I've got to run," and everyone's supposed to be okay with it. These are formal proceedings. They're on the record. They're under oath in many cases, and they carry real consequences if you lie or obstruct. What makes this situation even worse is that Noem is the Secretary of Homeland Security, which means she's in charge of one of the most critical departments in the entire federal government. We're talking about the department that oversees border security, immigration enforcement, cybersecurity, disaster response, the Secret Service, TSA, FEMA, and a whole range of other agencies that directly affect national security and public safety. This isn't some minor cabinet position where maybe you could argue it's less critical. This is literally the person who's supposed to be keeping America safe. And if that person is willing to lie to Congress about why she's walking out of a hearing, what else is she willing to lie about?
I answer that question for you. Everything. Every damn thing. She's willing to lie and cover up, deflect anything she can now to try to save her own ass. But you can't save it. You done messed up too long. You done broke the law too long. So guess what? You're going to be dealt with. Kristi Noem. You definitely going to be dealt with. You lied to Congress. You think they're not going to do nothing about it? They know you've been lying the whole time. They know you've been in compliance the whole time. That's why they got your ass in there in the meeting. They know you've been messing up. Now you don't want to admit it. You want to divert and deflect. Ain't no place to deflect, baby. Donald Trump ain't in there with you. Because if he was, he'd be in there fumbling just like you. He'd walk out just like you. But the time of walking out is running out. The time of y'all existence is running out. And it's good to see. Good to see. So Kristi Noem and a couple more of you, you're going to wish you had stayed away from the orange monster. You're going to wish you had never accepted the position that the orange monster gave y'all. Not only is it going to cost you your career, but possibly your damn freedom. Your freedom. Because you keep lying, definitely going to cost you your freedom. You lying in Congress, that's definitely going to cost you your freedom. Not to mention all the stealing you've been doing and the fraud you've been doing. Miss Noem, you think they're talking to you for no reason? No, baby, they're getting ready to lay the hammer down on you. And you see it coming. That's why you ran out of there. You ran out of there like a scalded dog. But guess what? The dog catchers are after you. And they never let a dog escape. Never! So, Miss Noem, I hope you're prepared. I hope Donald Trump prepared you from trials that he's had to endure, that he's going to have to endure again. More severe trials this time, because the penalties and crimes that he's committed now is even more serious than the first time. So yeah, I told y'all about 6-7 months ago, domino effect, people. They're going to start falling like dominoes. In fact, I'm going to be here to record it too. So if y'all found this video informative, hit the thumbs up. Give me a like for the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Share the video with your family and friends. Tell them subscribe to this guy. Because he gonna bring you the news. Point blank period. Funnybone saw this. Funnybone had to get it to y'all, funny ones. Funnybone love y'all.